record and let's get started. I Tonight training is on mindset, and mindset can go in so many different directions. When you can think mindset one way, and then somebody will train it, and you, wow, I never thought of it that way. And so, what I wanted to share tonight with you is really personal to me. And the reason why I decided that I needed to be the one to do it, first because Phoebe said to me, Dina, you need to do that one for yourself. And I always listen to my mentor. And but it is personal to me. When I look at all of my life, the biggest challenge for me always has been fear. And fear is what I fight every day, and my thoughts. And so I thought that people could relate to some of the things I wanted to share with you tonight. And so it is personal to me. And I know some of you have heard this story before, but I'd been in another direct sales company for 7 years when I joined Arbonne. I'd sponsored 3 people during those 7 years. And so I won many awards for sponsoring in that company. And but when I came with Arbonne, one day my regional vice president at the time, Kathy, asked us to go around in a circle and share what we had done the previous week. And every week we shared how much we'd sold and how many people we had sponsored. And we went around the room, and when it got to me, after I sat there and listened to everyone else's what they had done the previous week, I blurted out as loud as I could, I can't sponsor. And she just yelled at me and she said, Dina, do you hear how your terrible self-talk? And I don't think I had realized until that moment how bad my self-talk was. And when I sat there and heard myself from someone else, I realized how terrible it was. So let me just get the everybody muted out. There we go. So I'm going to show my screen because I've had to work on this, and so let me get this ready to go. But I wanted to share with you why I felt such a need to do this tonight. Because I think right now we are going through a lot of anxiety in our world. And we have a lot of thoughts that they're not doing us any good. And so I want to share this with you. Weird. My gosh. I may or may not be able to get this to do what I want it to do. And all of a sudden I opened it. I've been working on this all day long, and all of a sudden it opened up a different way than it's ever opened up before. If anybody knows how to make it go back to the basic way of getting it to view, I'd be thrilled for anyone who can say, yeah, do this.
Go to slideshow.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now you're seeing that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So what I wanted to go through with you tonight is a formula for transformation. It's the power of your thoughts. And this is what I wanted to go through with you tonight. The first thought is to think about, a lot of times until recently, we thought that we were our thoughts. We thought that any thoughts that we had, that was us, but we've become aware that we are not our thoughts. One of the things that I've had to learn how to do, and I don't know if the rest of you have had to learn how to do, is to become the observer of your thoughts and to take a step back and think about that. And that's really what I want to go through with you tonight, is that you are not your thoughts, and that you can learn to step aside and look at your thoughts and ask yourself, are those serving me? Are those working for me? And really, when you can step back and become the observer, that's where all your power lies, is becoming the observer. You can't control your thoughts. Like right now, if I said, don't think of a purple elephant, you would think of a purple elephant. You'd start picturing it. So the more that you try to control your thoughts, the more it's going to gain momentum and have a will of its own. So you have to stop trying to resist the thought. You have to take a step back and look at it and, think, why am I thinking that? And I think, especially for women, we have such thoughts of, that we go into comparison mode unbelievably, especially as women. I don't find guys do this, but women do this. So stop trying to resist the thought, but you can choose new thoughts. You can choose new thoughts and learn to shift your attention. I went through a bout of severe anxiety a few years ago that just paralyzed me for 18 months, just paralyzed me with anxiety. And I found myself, the first month of everything getting locked down, one night I went right back into the most incredible bout of anxiety and had a panic attack because of it. And so you have to, I had to get up in the morning. And one of the things that Rita Davenport used to help me with is she would make me take every single thing out to its worst possible conclusion. And so when I would be thinking that thought, she'd say, okay, now, so if that did happen, Dina, would you still have somewhere to live tomorrow? Yes. Would your children still be okay? Yes. Would your husband still love you? Yes. Would you die? And every time she'd make me take out anything I was completely anxious about to the ridiculous. And that is one of the things you can really do so that you can learn to release the thought and shift your attention, is take it to, that ridiculous stage. So the power lies in that, being able to shift your attention. That's it. Sometimes when we're hung up on hurts from the past, or someone who we think has done us wrong, or life's not fair, one of the things we have to do is to look at that and say, why am I letting this situation or this person have all my attention? Why am I letting this, experience demand my attention? So that's where we have to learn to do, is shift our attention. That it's saying, what you resist persists. The more you resist a stressful thought, the stronger it's going to be. It really does. It does gain such energy and momentum when you sit there and think about it. I know an exercise that I learned from Tony Robbins was to, when you get like that, to really think about the most successful moment you've ever had in your life, and you have that moment. A lot of times our stress comes because we want certainty in our life. And a lot of times things are holding us back because we don't want to do anything that we're not certain about. Well, guess what? Life isn't certain. We have to do this. We have to, look at that thought and figure it out. So once you look at whatever it is that you're stressing about, whatever that thought is, if you look at it and you accept it. So when I was having that really unbelievably stressful day, back in March, I said, okay, I have just let my mind go. And one of the things I've learned about myself is that I'm very visual. And because I'm so visual, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, I can take something to catastrophe and I can just blow it up and make it be really till it goes to a catastrophe. And so you have to look at that and just kind of accept that you have that thought. And because when you do that, it tends to disappear. So what you resist persists, but what you look at disappears. Okay? So just follow that formula. So this is the master thought formula that absolutely can change your life, and it really can change your business. And I know that it really does work. It absolutely does work. So, a lot of times we think that what's holding us back are the circumstances in our life, and because of this and this and this, I can't be successful, blah, 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 blah. But really what it is, it's the thoughts you have about it and the story you tell yourself. So it's the story you tell yourself is what is holding you back. I used to make people do an exercise where they would picture that it was garbage day, and you would take your story of whatever reason why you cannot be successful, and I would make them visually take that out and go put it in the garbage. So if your garbage day is Mondays, as mine is, you had to go put your story in the garbage before the garbage man came. And then you had to picture the garbage man taking your story away. Because you guys, everything that we tell ourselves is a story. It's a story we create. So if we created the story, we can create a different story. So I want you to, let's take the condition of, I'm not bringing in enough PCs. I'm not sponsoring enough clients. So that's a condition that we can all relate to. And so I'm going to give you 3 different ways that 3 different people, 3 different consultants might look at that condition. The first one, gosh, I am just so bad at this business. I am just not worthy. I'm not a good enough person. I'm never going to be able to be good enough. That's how one person might think of that condition. Consultant number 2 might say, I'm never going to be successful. I've never been successful in my past, and I've always just failed at anything I've tried. I'm going to be a failure at this. The third one might say, well, that's okay. It just means I'm growing, and that I need to learn more about marketing myself and my business and connecting with the right people. So I'm going to go get some training. I'm going to really jump in and maybe take a course in social media and learn what does my best client look like? What is my avatar? Who is it I'm really looking for? Well, those are 3 different ways to look at this. Now, I want you to think about the first way. I'm unworthy and I will never be good enough. I want you to think for a minute for me, and I want you to tap in the chat right now. What having that thought, what feelings would that thought make you have? I'm unworthy. I will never be good enough. I want you to type in right now, what are the feelings that that thought would create? Discouraged, unmotivated, defeated, sadness. Yep, sadness. Panic, hopelessness, despair, depression. Absolutely. Those, way to go, guys. That's perfect. So having a thought like that would really create that kind of feeling, wouldn't it? And the same thing with the second one. I'm never going to be successful. You know, I'm a failure. And that's exactly what that thought would create. So thoughts create feelings, don't they? So my thought of saying to everybody who would listen, I can't, and what I said, which was just perfect, I said, I can't sponsor anyone in Salt Lake City, where I live. So telling the room full of people that I can't sponsor anyone in Salt Lake City, you know, that created a feeling that I had. And it was a feeling of failure. It was a feeling of, you know, geez, I just suck at this. Basically, that's what it created. It creates. So thoughts create feelings. So I want to take you through this power of transformation. I want to give you skills tonight to be able to help you with that. So knowing that thoughts create feelings, then what do feelings create? Feelings create actions. So I want you to go back and I want you to chat inside the chat. I want you to tell me what either one of those first 2 feelings, how would it affect the actions that those consultants would take after that? How would that affect their actions? Type that in. Stop dead in my tracks, not do anything, freeze, go to bed. Love that one. Not making contacts, okay? Stop you from doing anything, shut you down, stuck. Yeah, it's an energy zapper, isn't it? So you probably wouldn't post, you probably wouldn't message anyone, and you probably wouldn't follow up with anybody, would you? Because you wouldn't want to know. You wouldn't want to hear what you are already pictured that you thought was going to happen. So you just wouldn't follow up. So feelings create actions. And what do actions create? Results. So if the feelings of those first 2 consultants, they're going to stop you in your tracks. You're going to probably watch Netflix, binge, do nothing, just be lethargic in your business because the actions create results. Then you're not going to get those results that you need for your month, you know, for your day, for your week, or for your month. You're going to be stuck. I think it was Steph Bolton that said stuck. Yeah, you're going to be stuck and not get any results. So we really have to think about that when we, so what do you need to learn how to do? If this sounds like you and maybe what you do to yourself, I've been there. So you need to become an observer. And so when you observe and you go, okay, wow, I'm having some really disempowering thoughts. I'm in comparison mode. I know a dear friend of mine, we could get amazing results. We could have the most amazing month, and we could get incredible stats, and we would be on a high for a day or two. And then we could fall back into comparison mode and get out the whips and chains and start beating ourselves up because we weren't quite as amazing as we felt like other people were being. And we could fall into that trap. So it doesn't matter how successful you are. I know I was in the top 10 income earners at the time when I was doing that. So it doesn't even matter. It just means that we can get stuck in that kind of stinking thinking, that we can do that. So we have to observe and think, okay, I'm in comparison mode. I'm comparing myself to somebody else. How is that serving me? Okay, I'm doing that right now. What is the next best thought that I can have right now? And think about what you could do. And one of the things to do is to immediately go into gratitude. Immediately think about what it is you're thankful for. Because sometimes by doing that, that comparison of what we have can really help get us into the next best thought. So I want to go over this because anytime we have change in our life, anytime anything like that can put us into fear. And one of the worst parts of what we've gone through tonight can be you can go into fear. And fear can keep you so paralyzed from moving forward. And so when you feel yourself and you're going into fear mode, that's when you have to take it out to the ridiculous. And I want you to think of Rita Davenport, and I want you to think about when we're having a major launch in our business, one of the biggest launches we've had in our history of Arbonne. And between Barb and Phoebe and I, that's a lot of years, but this is going to be a big launch. Now you can be consultant number 1, consultant number 2, or consultant number 3. You can go into, oh no, I've got to learn about new products. How will that affect my business? Will people like them? Will they purchase them? How will that make my business grow? Or you can be consultant number 2 and just says, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I've never done any launches really well. Or you can be consultant number 3. And consultant number 3 thinks of it as solution questions. What could I be doing right now to prepare my business for September 10th? And asking yourself solution-oriented questions. Because I look back at major launches that we've had. I didn't take advantage of the 30 Days to Healthy Living. I was late to that party. I didn't run with it. Other people who embraced that sooner use that vehicle to explode their business. So I want you to think about it. Have you got your sponsoring pot for partners, business partners? Is that just churning right now? Have you got enough people in there so that when you invite them to that launch that we're doing on September 10th, that they're going to see this as, wow, this is an incredible time for me to come into Arbonne. with these amazing new products, wow, I could really grow a business around this. Are you going to be, I'm hoping that you're choosing like they do on, what's the show that, Let's Make a Deal? I'm hoping that you're choosing consultant number 3. And that's who you're going to be, because I am so excited. That I thought about it all day Saturday, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be huge. Am I ready for this? And that's what I want you to think about. What an exciting time it is for you in Arbonne, for you right now. I'm hoping this helps you tonight, and that this power of transformation, of you learning how to become an observer, and for you to choose the next best thought, can help you, so that someone doesn't scream at you someday and say, are you hearing what you're saying to yourself? Because we can be there. And I'm excited for you and for your business right now. Thanks everybody for joining us. Let's make it a great close. Good night, everybody.
So good, Dina. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dina.
Thank you, Dina. Great.